Class. Today, we're going to explore the phrasal verb act up and its various meanings in English. Act up is a versatile phrase that can convey different ideas depending on the context. Let's dive in. Firstly, act up can mean to misbehave or malfunction, especially when referring to machines or technology. It suggests that something is not working as expected. For example, my computer acted up, and I lost all my unsaved work. Let's see an example of a daily life conversation that demonstrates the use of act up in the context of malfunction.
Hey, have you fixed your laptop yet? I remember you said it was acting up.
Unfortunately, no. It's still acting up. The screen keeps flickering, and it randomly shuts down.
That's frustrating. Maybe you should take it to a repair shop. It's been acting up for a while now.
Yeah, I think that's the best option. I can't afford to have it malfunctioning during an important project.
In this conversation, Amber and Justin discuss the issue with Justin's laptop. Justin confirms that the laptop is still malfunctioning, experiencing screen flickering and unexpected shutdowns. Amber suggests taking it to a repair shop due to its persistent issues. It demonstrates how the phrase act up is used to describe the malfunctioning behavior of the laptop. Can anyone provide another example of act up in a similar context?
My phone always acts up when the battery is low. It starts freezing and shutting down unexpectedly.
Excellent example. You've got it. Now, let's move on to the second use of act up. Act up can also mean to behave in a disruptive or unruly manner, often used to describe people's behavior. It implies that someone is causing trouble or being difficult. For example, the children acted up during the assembly, and the teacher had to reprimand them. Let's see an example of a daily life conversation that demonstrates the use of act up in the context of disruptive behavior.
Did you hear about the incident at the restaurant last night?
No, what happened?
Well, there was this customer who started acting up and causing a scene because their order was taking longer than expected.
Oh no, that must have been disruptive for the other diners and the staff.
In this conversation, Anna informs David about a disruptive incident that occurred at a restaurant. They mention that a customer began acting up and causing a scene due to a delay in their order. It demonstrates how the phrase act up is used to describe disruptive behavior. Can anyone share another example of act up in a similar context?
The students acted up in class, talking loudly and not paying attention to the teacher.
Well done. You're catching on quickly. Now, let's explore the third use. Act up can also mean to experience physical discomfort or pain, typically used when describing a person's health. It suggests that someone is feeling unwell or experiencing symptoms. For example, her knee injury acted up again, and she had trouble walking. Let's see an example of a daily life conversation that demonstrates the use of act up in the context of physical discomfort.
Hey, I heard you had a long day at work. How are you holding up?
Honestly, not too well. My migraines have been acting up again, and it's been unbearable.
Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that. Have you tried any remedies or medication for your migraines?
Yeah, I've tried different painkillers and relaxation techniques, but they only provide temporary relief. It's been a real challenge to get through the day with these headaches acting up.
That sounds really tough. Have you considered seeing a specialist or getting some professional advice?
Yes, I've scheduled an appointment with a neurologist next week. Hopefully, they can help me find a more effective solution for when my migraines act up.
In this conversation, Sarah shows concern for Ross's well-being, specifically mentioning their long day at work. Ross expresses their physical discomfort by stating that their migraines have been acting up, causing severe pain. The conversation highlights the impact of the migraines on Ross's daily life and their efforts to find a more suitable solution through medical intervention. Now, let's move on to the fourth use of act up. Act up can also mean to become more noticeable or prevalent, typically used when referring to a problem or an issue. It suggests that something is becoming more significant or causing more trouble. For example, the protests in the city have been acting up, leading to increased tensions. Let's see an example of a daily life conversation that demonstrates the use of act up in the context of a problem becoming more noticeable.
Did you hear about the recent power outages in our neighborhood?
Yes, they have been acting up quite frequently. Initially, it was just a few short outages, but now the duration has increased, and it's causing a lot of inconvenience.
In this conversation, Jenny mentions the power outages in the neighborhood, and Damien acknowledges that the outages have been occurring more frequently and lasting longer. The phrase acting up is used to describe the problem of power outages becoming more noticeable and causing increasing inconvenience to the residents. Can anyone share another example of act up in a similar context?
The supply chain disruptions have been acting up lately, leading to delays in deliveries and shortages of goods.
Excellent choice. You're doing a fantastic job. Now, let's discuss the final use of act up. Act up can also mean to revive or reenact a past event or memory, often used in the context of performing arts or historical reenactments. It implies recreating or reliving something from the past. For example, the theater company plans to act up a famous Shakespearean play. Let's see an example of a short daily life conversation that demonstrates the use of act up in the context of reenacting.
Hey, have you heard about the upcoming historical event at the park?
No, what's happening?
They're going to act up the Battle of Gettysburg, complete with reenactors and period costumes.
That sounds fascinating. I've always wanted to witness a historical event being acted up.
Let's make sure we don't miss it. It's going to be an immersive experience.
Can you think of another example of act up in a similar context?
The local community theater group plans to act up a classic play by Tennessee Williams.
Well done. You've grasped the concept perfectly. That concludes our lesson on the phrasal verb act up in English. I hope you now have a better understanding of how to use this phrase in different contexts. Remember to practice using act up in your conversations and written work. Keep up the great work, and see you in our next class.